Hey Guitar Hacks, welcome to part 2 of comparing the my pedals with my multi-effects. So what I'm going to do is just do A-B so you can kind of hear the difference between the sound that I'm getting out of the pedals and the sound that I'm getting out of the multi-effects. The sound unfortunately on my tablet here is probably not the best, but what I'll do is I will play a little bit with the pedals. I'll start with the gains and we'll do a comparison with the gains, and then I'll do a comparison with the modulation, comparing the delays between the multi-effects and the pedals and so on. So I'm going to start off with the pedals. By the way, I'm playing an SG guitar. That's a Gibson SG. It's a guitar I'm using. Just an SG standard, nothing special. And I'm going to be starting off with, I'll play both my overdrives. I'll play the Plimsoll for a second, and then I will play the Pinnacle, and then I will cut and go right to the overdrives offered on my multi-effects so we can do a comparison. Alright. I should mention this is by no means a scientific comparison here, because obviously different brands and so on and so forth, but this is just to sort of give you a rough idea of what the difference would be between a pedal sound and a processed or multi-effect sound. Okay, so I've got the Plimsoll full tone on right now. I'm playing through a Marshall amp, just a DSL 40. Okay, I've got it EQ'd nicely for the SG. I'm not going to change the EQ or anything. So I'm just going to play the Plimsoll for a little bit. Okay, so just to hear kind of what it sounds like. Now one thing is, it's very touch sensitive, so if I play lightly, okay, stop it. So it's very touch sensitive, so if I play lightly, so if I play very lightly, just acts just like an amp. So you still have the gain there, but it's not really biting. But if I play heavy, so it reacts accordingly. So it's very touch sensitive. Alright, now I'm going to put on the multi-effects overdrive so you can do direct comparison. Alright, so now I've got my ME70 hooked up, and I've got just the overdrive on, and I've chosen the overdrive on it. So again, this isn't scientific, but just to give you an idea what the overdrive on the multi-effect sounds like compared to the Plimsoll. So here we go. Oops. Now if I play lightly, it does not clean up nearly as nice. if I play heavy. So you can hear some differences there. It's a little more compressed, a little less dynamic than the pedal. But that's what the overdrive on that sounds like. Alright, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to put the Pinnacle on. Okay, so now I've got the Wampler Pinnacle Deluxe on, and I'm going to play a few things just to compare again. So, more or less the same things. So a lot more bite, a lot more dynamics. You can especially hear when I chug on the lower notes. Okay, a lot different, not as compressed, more dynamic, a little more reactive too. Playing soft, let's see if it'll clean up. Okay, so that's the Pinnacle. Okay, so just to remind you again, this is the Multieffects. Alright, so you can hear a huge difference between the drives, the pedal drives and the Multieffects drives. Big difference. Now I'm going to try comparing the modulation. So first I'm going to go to the Corona chorus, and then I'm going to go to the built-in chorus and the Multieffects and see if I've got that much of a difference there. Okay, so now I have the Corona chorus on. It's a TC Electronic pedal. I'm going to play a little bit so you can hear the chorus sound. So it's something like this. Now I'm going to try the chorus on the Multieffects. Okay, so I'm using the chorus on the Multieffects now, and I'll play more or less the same thing. Huge difference in sound. Again, much more of a compressed, less dynamic sound I find with the chorus. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do direct comparison between the delay I have on the multi and the delay I have on the board. Alright, so on the board I've got a flashback delay, again by TC Electronics. I've just got it set on the analog. You can see the settings there. And I'm going to try to match those settings on the Multieffects, but this is how it sounds like. Nice natural sounding, very rich. Really just doubles the original note if you listen. Okay, now I'm going to try the delay on the multi. Okay, so I've got the multi on. I've also chosen analog delay. I've got more or less the same settings for time and feedback. So this is what this sounds like. So here's the original note, and see how the delays, the repeat sounds on it. it's very, again, very compressed, very non-dynamic. It's almost like you have a veil over top of the note that's sort of killing the liveliness of it. So again, this is not a really scientific, I mean, I'm comparing different brands, but just to sort of give you a rough idea what the sounds you get on a multi-effects are compared to what you would get on actual pedals. So there you have it, a comparison between the multi-effects and the pedals. And this was kind of interesting for me because I've never actually A/B'd them. And man, when you break it down into individual effects, you can really hear the difference. I don't know if it translates, because again, I'm just recording this on a tablet, but it really, it's a world of difference. I mean, since I started using the pedals, I've been getting a lot of compliments on my tone and sound and everything, and now when you A/B them, you can really hear why. It's such a huge difference. Again, I'm not trying to make this video to totally smash the idea of using multi-effects. I mean, they're great. You know, they're really, I guess the best word is they're convenient. You know, you can set up all your sounds, have them ready to go, and that's it. And I mean, like I said, like I said in the first video, I played so many shows with these multi-effects. I mean, tons of shows, and it sounded great. But I guess until you really compare it directly, you don't really know what you're missing until you compare it directly with the set of pedals. But world of difference. So I guess it really comes down to convenience versus sound quality. I mean, if you don't mind doing a tap dance, and I mean, for some of the songs I'm dancing like crazy to turn things on and off, and of course there's endless tweaking with pedals where you wouldn't be doing that with the multi-effects. The tweaking, you know, different songs, different guitars, you're forever tweaking. But you know what? After a while, you get good at it, and you get quick at finding a good sound pretty quick. So even that really isn't much of an obstacle. Again, I sound really biased, and I apologize for that. But man, comparing them being like that, comparing them directly, what a difference. Anyway, just hopefully that this will help you out in your decision whether to go multi or whether to go individual pedals. I will say this though, money wise, multi-effects is way cheaper. For the price of that multi-effects, that would pay for maybe one and a half pedals. So it's a lot more expensive proposition to go pedals. But again, it's a question of quality over convenience. And just to recap, I did all that through just a Marshall DSL 40 and my handy dandy Gibson SG guitar. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you'll tune in to other videos that I do, and have a great day. Later, guitar hacks.